They will tell you that vulnerability makes you human, that openness creates connection, that confession builds trust. But Machiavelli knew what the masses refused to see. The moment you expose your wounds, the moment you let them glimpse your uncertainty, they begin calculating your value, and your worth drops. Humans are predators of status. They smell hesitation the way wolves smell blood. The friend who reassures you will later use that knowledge as leverage. The lover who comforts you may, in time, doubt you. The rival will weaponize your confession the second the tides turn. This is not cruelty. It is the nature of survival. The one who reveals weakness is telling the world, I can be broken. And once the world believes that, it will keep pressing until you shatter. This video will expose the 10 laws of concealing vulnerability, rules that turn your silence into armor, your composure into fear for others, and your restraint into an unshakable position of power. Listen closely. Every law you ignore will be the one someone uses against you next. Rule 1. Weakness is never neutral. According to Machiavelli, appearances matter more than truth. They won't tell you this, but every interaction is a measurement. Every glance, every word, every silence. People are weighing you, deciding if you're worth following or worth stepping over. And here's the part they never admit. There's no such thing as neutral. You're either seen as strong or you're seen as weak. The moment you reveal your insecurity, the scale tips. You move from a threat to an option, from someone they respect to someone they can afford to ignore. Pity feels warm in the moment, but it's ice underneath, because pity is a verdict. You've been judged and found lesser. They won't say it out loud. They'll smile. They'll offer comfort. But somewhere in their mind, you've been lowered. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. The truth doesn't save you. Strength is an illusion, and perception is the only thing that keeps it alive. You might be competent, intelligent, dangerous even, but if you look fragile, you will be treated as fragile. And treatment shapes reality. Opportunities will bypass you. Risks will be taken at your expense. Boundaries will be tested because they believe you can't hold them. The elite understand something the masses never will. Every confession is a transaction. You are trading a piece of your mystery for a burst of relief. You're handing them a weapon they didn't have before, and they will remember. That friend who listened, they'll use it later. That lover who comforted you, they'll question you in moments that matter most. That rival, they'll wait. And then they'll strike exactly where you bled. The masses spill themselves open for anyone willing to hear. They call it honesty. They call it trust. The powerful don't. They guard their weaknesses like state secrets. They show the world nothing it can use against them. They let the silence work for them. They force people to guess, because the moment you reveal the crack, people stop looking at the wall and start looking for ways to break it. In this game, weakness is never neutral. It's never harmless. It's either hidden or it's exploited. And the second you understand that, you stop speaking just to feel lighter. You stop bleeding in front of people who only pretend to care. You learn to keep your wounds invisible. You learn to keep your composure intact. Because in the end, the one who knows your weakness can control you. And you don't give control away. Rule 2. Pity is a cage. According to Machiavelli, the appearance of strength is worth more than the truth of your condition. There's a moment you'll regret for the rest of your life. The moment you thought you were safe enough to open up. You believed they would understand, that they'd respect you for being honest. that sharing your pain would bring you closer. It doesn't. It changes everything, because pity is not neutral. Pity is a verdict. Silent, invisible, permanent. The second they feel sorry for you, you stop being their equal. They move one rung up, you drop one rung down. And no matter what they say out loud, the hierarchy has shifted. You are no longer someone to be feared. You're someone to be handled, managed, protected like fragile glass. And fragile things are never trusted with real power. Machiavelli understood that people rarely update their judgment once it's set. First impressions aren't just about beginnings. They also apply to your lowest moments. The first time they see you cracked, they will remember that version of you, and they will measure every future move against it. You could rebuild yourself, become sharper, stronger, more capable than before. But in their mind, you'll still be the one who broke. This is why pity is sticky. It clings to you, it defines you, and you can't scrape it off with effort or proof. The Machiavellian player knows that once you are locked in that role, escape is almost impossible. You might win back respect in public, but in private, the doubt will never fully leave their mind. They'll never trust you to hold the blade without wondering if you'll drop it. You need to understand this. Comfort feels good, but it's a drug. And like all drugs, it comes with a cost. You feel lighter in the moment, but you've given away something you'll never get back. That's why the strong suffer in silence. They bleed where no one can see. They collapse behind locked doors and get back up before anyone notices they were gone. Not because they don't feel pain, but because they understand the economy of power. They know that the one who seems unshaken is treated differently than the one who visibly falls apart. The masses call this cold. They call it inhuman. But look closely. Those same people will never hand real control to someone they've seen on their knees. So you choose. Do you want comfort or respect? When the strong emerge from hardship, they don't tell the story. They let the mystery work for them. They let people wonder how they survived, if they even suffered at all. That uncertainty is power. And when they look at you, unsure of what you've endured, unsure of what could break you, they tread carefully. They measure their words. They hesitate before testing you. Because respect doesn't come from your honesty. It comes from their doubt. Never forget. The second you let them see you as weak, you give them permission to treat you as weak. And once you're in that cage, they'll never let you out. Rule 3. Silence as a fortress. According to Machiavelli, intentions should only be revealed when they can no longer be opposed. Silence makes people uncomfortable. They start filling the gaps with their own assumptions. And that's where the power is. Every word you give away about your struggles is a bridge, a connection. But bridges don't just carry your truth out. They carry other people in, straight into your mind, straight into the places you should keep locked. Silence is not emptiness. It's structure. It's walls. It's the architecture that keeps your control intact. Machiavelli knew this. He warned rulers to reveal their intentions only when it was too late for anyone to stop them. The same rule applies to your vulnerabilities. If you must speak, do it when your position is unshakable, when the damage is already impossible, when no one can use it against you. The masses can't do this. They panic in the quiet. They need to be seen, heard, validated. So they overshare. They dump their secrets into the hands of people they barely know. And then they wonder why those same people treat them differently later. Every detail you give someone is a blueprint, and blueprints tell you exactly where the walls are weakest. The disciplined withhold. They let others wonder They let their composure stand like a fortress, with no visible cracks. That mystery forces people to imagine what might be behind it, and imagination breeds caution. Silence changes the frame. When you speak less, you choose the terms of the conversation. You're not the one explaining, defending, or justifying yourself. You're the figure in the corner, measured from a distance, the one they can't quite read. And unreadable is dangerous, because when people can't see inside you, they have to assume, and assumptions are almost always bigger and darker than the truth. That's why you don't hand them the script to your destruction. You don't tell them where you're weak. You don't tell them what hurts. You don't tell them what you want. You let them guess. And the longer they guess, the more they tread carefully. That's the quiet leverage of silence. It makes them work harder for every piece of you. And when they can't get it, they respect it. Never forget, every word is a stone taken from your walls. Speak too much, and one day you'll find you've dismantled your own fortress, and no one will put it back for you. Fifth rule, the predator's eye. According to Machiavelli, it is much safer to be feared than loved. If you must choose between the two, they watch you, not in the obvious way, not with open hostility or loud judgment. No. The true predator studies you in silence. Their gaze lingers just long enough to make a note. They see the tremor in your voice, the hesitation before you answer, the way your shoulders drop when something hits too close. And they remember vulnerability in the wild is a death sentence. The animal with a limp, the bird with a broken wing. It doesn't matter how strong they once were. Once the injury is visible, predators circle. Human society is no different. The difference is that here, the predators smile while they wait. The ones you think are harmless are often the ones storing ammunition. They won't strike right away. They'll let you relax, let you believe the moment passed. But it hasn't. It's sitting in the back of their mind, preserved like a weapon wrapped in cloth. When they need influence, when they need leverage, when they need you to bend, they'll unwrap it. They'll say it casually, with just enough weight to remind you they know that they've seen you falter before, and you'll feel it. The shift in power. This is why fear matters more than love. Love may protect you for a while, but fear protects you when love turns. And it always turns. The moment someone sees you unsettled, you've given them the map to your defenses. They know where to press. They know what breaks the mask. And once they've seen it once, they'll test you again. Harder, closer, until you stop resisting. That is why the Machiavellian conceals their wounds so completely that even those closest to them can't tell where they bleed. Not friends, not family, not lovers, no one. When you can't be read, you can't be predicted. And when you can't be predicted, you can't be controlled. The predator's eye thrives on patterns, repeated tells, visible cracks, familiar responses. Take those away, and their calculations fail. They can't align their goals with your weakness if they can't find the weakness at all. This is not about paranoia. It's about survival, because respect in this world is built on perception. And the second that perception tilts toward fragility, you begin to lose ground. You must become unreadable, not cold for the sake of coldness, but composed for the sake of control. Speak carefully, react slowly. Let no one see the full range of your emotions. And when something does shake you, bury it beneath a mask so convincing that even you start to believe it. In the wild, the predator attacks the one that stands apart, the one limping at the edge of the herd. In human terms, this means the one whose composure slips in front of the wrong eyes. If you must break, break in private. If you must bleed, bleed where no one can smell it. They cannot weaponize what they cannot detect. The predator's eye is always searching, but sometimes the most dangerous thing you can give them is nothing. So train yourself to hold the line when it matters most, to replace the instinct to confess with the instinct to conceal, to trade the relief of openness for the security of silence. Because once you understand this rule, you'll see it everywhere. In boardrooms, in friendships, in politics, in love. The ones with power are rarely the ones who show the most. They're the ones who show the least. And those who seem the hardest to break usually are. If you want to keep the respect you've earned, don't just protect your strengths. Protect the places you've already been wounded. Hide them. Guard them. Let no one touch them. Because the truth is simple. The moment the predator sees blood, the hunt begins. And in this game, you can't afford to be prey. Sixth rule is public masks, private truths, according to Machiavelli. Men judge more by the eye than by the hand. For all can see, but few can feel. You think people want the truth. They don't. They want a version of you they can respect. Fear or envy, the raw truth, your doubts, your fears, your quiet breakdowns. That's not what they're looking for. That's ammunition. When you walk into a room, no one sees your inner life. They see posture, expression, tone. They measure how much space you take, how steady your voice sounds, how controlled your reactions are. They make calculations, and those calculations determine whether they step toward you or try to step over you. The public self is not who you are. It's who you allow them to see. That's not lying. That's building a fortress. The people who share everything think they are being authentic. They think transparency creates trust. But what they're really doing is lowering their walls until the world can map every weakness, every insecurity, every pressure point. And once that map exists, someone will follow it straight to the center. I've watched people destroy themselves by believing that their audience, whether friends, lovers, or colleagues, would handle their honesty with care. They didn't. They filed it away. They waited for the right moment. And when it came, they didn't hesitate. You must learn to wear a mask, not a smile plastered over pain, not a cartoon version of confidence, but a deliberate, composed exterior that communicates, I am untouchable. Even in moments when your personal world is collapsing, you walk in as though nothing can move you, not because you are unshaken, but because no one gets to see you shake. Your private truths are yours alone. They are not currency to be traded for sympathy or validation. The moment you offer them to the public, you give away leverage. And leverage, once surrendered, is almost impossible to regain. Machiavelli knew that rulers could be terrified behind closed doors and still appear unbreakable in court. The performance kept the state stable. Your life is no different. People respect stability. They respect what they cannot easily read. You might think hiding parts of yourself will make you feel isolated. It will. But that isolation is also a sanctuary. It's where you can actually think without the noise of other people's opinions. It's where you can process without interference. And most importantly, it's where no one can reach you to twist the knife. The mask you wear is not about deceiving the world. It's about protecting the core of yourself from a world that doesn't always have your best interest in mind. I've learned that when you give people nothing to aim at, they eventually stop firing. When they can't read your expression, when they can't predict your moves, when they can't guess your state of mind, they hesitate, and hesitation is power. You are allowed to have your truths. You are allowed to break, to doubt, to bleed in private, but you owe it to yourself to make sure the performance you give the world is one of control. You can be in chaos and still walk like you own the ground under your feet, because the moment they see the crack, they'll test it, and the moment they find the gap, they'll widen it. The public will never protect your weaknesses. They will exploit them. So wear your mask, hold your truths close. Let the world think they know you, while never giving them more than you choose. That's how you keep respect. That's how you keep power. And when you leave the room, let them wonder who you really are. The longer they wonder, the longer you stay untouchable. According to Machiavelli, men in general judge more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see, but few can feel. You don't always get the luxury of hiding your wounds. Sometimes the damage is too visible, the setback too public. That's when concealment isn't enough. That's when you need something colder. The art of disguise, not the disguise of costumes or masks, the disguise of meaning. You take what looks like weakness and you twist it into the shape of strength. You don't deny the fire. You tell them you lit it yourself. When you face a loss, most people will wait for you to explain yourself. They want to know if they should pity you or circle you like prey. And here's the truth. The first story they hear will decide how they treat you. That means you have exactly one chance to define the narrative. If you're passed over for a promotion, you don't say you were overlooked. You say you declined because the position would have chained you to mediocrity. Your relationship ends. You don't say they left you. You say you walked away to protect your peace. If a project fails, you don't say it collapsed. You say you shut it down to redirect resources to something greater. It's not about lying. It's about reframing. Machiavelli understood that perception outweighs reality because reality is private, but perception is public. You can't control every outcome, but you can always control the meaning people attach to it. People are lazy thinkers. They will believe the first clean explanation they're given, especially if it carries the tone of certainty. So you speak with no hesitation, no qualifiers, no apologies. The trick is to do it immediately. The longer you leave your struggle undefined, the more time others have to define it for you. And once they do, that definition becomes a cage you'll never escape. The masses don't create meaning. They consume it. The elite write their own definitions, and in doing so, they keep their grip on power, even in defeat. That's why the most dangerous people aren't the ones who never lose. They're the ones who can lose and still look untouchable. This is how kings survive the rumor mill, how CEOs survive market crashes, how leaders survive betrayal. They never let the truth stand naked. They dress it in armor before showing it to the world. So the next time you take a hit, resist the urge to confess the raw wound. Instead, control the frame. Make them believe the loss was a step in a longer game. Even if you're still figuring out the next move, because in the eyes of the world, your struggle is only as real as the meaning you attach to it. And if you choose the right meaning, they will not see you as broken. They will see you as dangerous. And that's the point. A dangerous man can lose and still command respect. Rule 7. The power of the untouchable image. According to Machiavelli, the perception of power often outweighs the possession of it. They don't need proof to believe you can't be broken. They just need to never see you bend. The untouchable image isn't built in moments of strength. It's built in the absence of visible weakness. You never flinch. You never over-explain. You never let emotions spill into the open where others can step in it. Over time, people stop testing you. They start assuming you're made of something harder than they are. And that assumption is everything. When you carry yourself with composure that never cracks, rivals hesitate before striking. They wonder what you know, what you're capable of, what it might cost to come after you. Allies commit harder, not out of loyalty, but because they want to stay close to whatever makes you unshakable. Strangers tread lightly, unsure where the limits are, unsure if you even have any. Machiavelli understood this. Power is often a shared illusion. It exists because others agree to see it in you. And as long as you never give them a single thread to pull, they will keep believing. This isn't about hiding your wounds. It's about erasing the possibility of them from the narrative entirely. You stop being someone who might break and become someone they cannot imagine breaking. That's the highest form of control, because when they believe you are untouchable, they'll treat you like you are,